I like Penelope the platypus. She is a platypus who escaped from the Bronx Zoo because she didn't like her platypus partner. Kind of funny. The media just went crazy for it in the 1960s.
Depths of Wikipedia is the place where Annie Rauwerda shares screenshots she takes of Wikipedia. She started on Instagram, where she uploads interesting or funny facts and theories that people decided should be included on Wikipedia, images with captions posted to the online encyclopedia, and blurbs of text that have a comical effect as they, just like a lot of the image captions, often describe absurd or silly situations in formal and objective language, or bring together unexpected topics. Soon after the Instagram became popular, Annie started an account on Twitter, now branded as X, as well, where she would post the same sort of content. But due to the graphic user interface of the website and app, the captions that Annie writes are displayed more prominently, allowing her to emphasize the context of the screenshots a bit more. Annie also made a TikTok account for Depths of Wikipedia. Here she began making videos where her Wikipedia screenshots would be in the background using the green screen effect, and she would be in front of it telling her audience about them.
In the US, the number one street name is Second because most towns will name their first street after a historical figure or main or front. It's really frustrating though.
As time went on, she diverted from that format a little and now makes videos about Wikipedia backstories or her experiences with the Wikipedian community too.
Come with me to bike around New York and take photos for Wikipedia with my friend Jim. We had a destination in mind, but Jim checked out some other things that needed photos that we could quick snap on the way. I've basically adopted him as my grandpa because mine lives in Michigan.
And she uploads more general and personal videos as well.
Ate it for lunch. Bitch, on my body, I get what I want. Like, bitch, they ain't mad, let's keep it a bean. No, they be mad, I be on the scene. Ass too fat, can't fit in a jean.
Besides curating Wikipedia content, Annie became known for being the chef of a perpetual stew last summer, which she would post about on her TikTok page and her personal Instagram account. And she developed a live show based on Depths of Wikipedia, which she tours with across the US. Yes, welcome, Annie.
Thank you for having me. I'm joining you from Brooklyn, New York.
Yes, our pleasure. Well, to start off, in the video it was mentioned Depths of Wikipedia started on Instagram. Could you maybe tell us a little bit more about that?
I was a student at the University of Michigan, and the COVID pandemic had started, and so suddenly I had nowhere to go and nothing to do. So I used much of my free time to explore unusual Wikipedia articles. There are so many. There are 6.7 million articles, and that's just on English Wikipedia. There are more than 300 different language Wikipedias, and there are articles about things from list of sexually active popes to list of stolen and missing moon rocks. And so I was reading about all sorts of things. I started posting unusual tidbits, trivia, interesting articles on Instagram. And for the first few months, it didn't really take off, but I was having a great time.
Which is like for yourself or for friends or like, or were you trying to make it like happen in a sense?
In the back of my mind, I always knew that maybe it would get big. I found a journal entry where I said, wow, it would be so interesting and so crazy if it got to 10,000 followers. So that was kind of like my crazy goal, which I didn't think was particularly attainable, but I thought, you know what, I'm not really doing anything else, and so I'll just spend a bunch of time posting these articles.
Yeah, I know you got or like 1.2 or something like that.
Which is really crazy. I really am still like surprised that so many people enjoy the same little things that I do.
Yeah. No, it's wonderful. And then I was wondering, what is your workflow? Because, well, you sort of explained it that you would, um, yeah, go on these sort of Wikipedia deep dives, maybe. Mm, but like you've been running this account for a couple of years now. Yeah, how do you still find stuff?
See, it's really hard to answer that question because it depends. I used to post things like 3 times a day. I didn't discriminate very much. I just posted whatever, anything that raised my eyebrows the slightest bit, I would just screenshot and post it. And now I'm a little bit more selective. I think there are a few reasons that I've gotten more selective. One is just that I've seen so many unusual articles. And so I try not to repost things, at least not very often. And so that's one reason why I don't post everything. But also I think I've gotten a little bit better of a sense of what is broadly appealing. And so I'm a little bit better at, tuning things to the audience. My workflow is pretty casual. For the vast majority of the time that I've had the account, I've either had a full-time job or been a student, like a full-time student. And so it's never been my number one priority. Right now, my job is related to Wikipedia, so it doesn't feel that different from work to post on Instagram. And my workflow is pretty much, I get a lot of messages from people that sometimes they'll suggest things. So I usually go through there.
And then there's also
I
like the
also,
Google form thing, right?
yeah, that's what I'm referring to. I have a Google
Hmm.
form where people submit things. It's really sweet. I also have some questions in there of like, how is your day going? What's up? And I like that because it reminds me that the people are real humans and they're people I would probably get along with if I met them in real life. So I go through those. There's usually a few a day. Most of the time they're things that I've already seen, but I still appreciate it and I think it's interesting to hear what articles people are interested in. And then sometimes I'll look at like subreddits that have interesting trivia and I'll see if the stuff is on Wikipedia. And also as a Wikipedia editor, I'm pretty
Sorry,
aware
I
of like
forgot
new
that at the beginning.
articles or new edits. And so often I just find stuff in the process of editing Wikipedia.
Great. Then I was thinking maybe we can have a look at the at your Instagram real quick, because I was having some questions. You just mentioned that you were able to find out what works and what doesn't.
Mhm.
Yeah, or sort of what people engage with, I guess. And like to me, when I was scrolling this, and like also like maybe this is my bias, but like something that stood out to me was it's a lot of food and animals. Is that right?
Yeah, see, it could just be that I really like food and animals, but I do think that, I mean, everyone in the world eats food. Most people like animals, or at least the idea of them. I do really like food and animals.
Yeah. And then, so do you like specifically go out to find food or animal content on Wikipedia, or like
No, I've
how
never
would
done
you
that.
end up at Mohammed the horse?
Um, I actually don't know how I got there. I was probably it's possible I got there from Wikipedia categories. There's a very extensive and honestly, it's not a very great system that Wikipedia has for categorizing different articles. And don't quote me on this, but I feel like there's a category of like animals that were once thought to be genius or smart. Because there have been a few, that was a horse that did math, but there have been a few different animals that have been famous for performing some sort of like intellectual task, but usually it's not real.
Hmm. But then, are there some posts maybe where you sort of knew the path you took, or are there sort of like these cheat codes for these deep dives that you have, or sort of certain methodologies maybe?
Well, yeah, I think that, I mean, the animals, like you said, are people love that. And it feels very wholesome and uncontroversial. And people, one pattern that I've done a lot is like when a single animal has a job, it's very sweet. Um, Let me think of some other examples. I'm gonna go look at the Instagram right now and see if I can tell you how I decided on certain posts. Um, hmm.
Do you remember for most of them how you got there, or?
Yeah, I'm on here right now. Um, it's kind of hard for me to remember.
Oh, that's interesting.
Because I don't know, I just spend a lot of time on Wikipedia. I probably visit like hundreds of articles every day, whether it's for editing or for preparing things for the book I'm writing or whatever.
Yes.
And yeah,
You
often
would remember like the articles you have read, right? Or
see, I wish I had a better answer for you, but no, I don't always. I usually remember the articles that I've read, but I don't always remember the path I take to get there, like what link I clicked to get to one article
yeah.
over the other. Yeah.
Would this also be a good moment to look at your the Google Doc you have, or is that more
Yeah,
related to other pages? Yeah.
that's like yes.
Okay, so this is yeah, because that's also sort of like a yeah, or yeah, maybe you can explain what this thing is.
When I find topics or Wikipedia articles that have to do with a certain day, like maybe they happened on a day, I'll put them in this document. And then if it gets to become the anniversary and I'm like, man, I really ought to be posting something, it's been a while, I'll see if it's the anniversary of anything interesting and then I'll post it.
Right, yeah. So for instance, today it would be oh, there's nothing for today. Oh.
Oh, nothing happened.
And then I think at the end there's some extra stuff, right?
Yeah,
Articles
I
that could
had
work
a
on multiple days.
yeah, I was thinking of maybe making one of those daily calendars that you tear off. I never ended up doing it, but maybe someday.
Right. And maybe this is also a good time to go to your Twitter page, or X as it, yeah, whatever. Mm, like it was mentioned in the video, I think the stuff you post on, like, or sometimes you cross post, I think, but also on Twitter, the texts you write with the screenshots, they're, yeah, being displayed a bit more prominently. So you can sort of, yeah, give a little bit more context, or framing. Sometimes, like I'm scrolling through it now, I can't really come across one, but I think sometimes you do like little threads where it's like a little longer caption that you write. Like, can you like, do you have a different approach when posting to these two different platforms?
Well, I think of Twitter and Instagram so differently. Twitter posts feel more ephemeral. They go away, they get buried. Whereas on Instagram, the image is preserved on your profile and it looks like it's like a museum. And so I'm more selective for Instagram because I know that it's going to sit there for a long time and be displayed prominently. So I think if I'm not sure about how interesting something is, I'll put it on Twitter, and if it gets some traction, then I'll cross post. But if not, then I don't feel bad because it's not going to be, it's just going to disappear soon,
All
or at
right, so
least
it's
be.
also like sort of like a testing, like a test site for your content.
Yeah. Although, I mean, now Twitter feels worse. And there are a lot of the people that I really liked and respected that were on Twitter. Many of them have left. So I have
Yeah,
Mastodon that I spent some time on. And yeah, I'm looking at some of the other alternatives that have popped up.
yeah, yeah. It's been a tough year. I don't think there's like the next big platform yet, in that sense. Mm, oh yeah, I was also wondering, on your Instagram page, it now says in the bio your personal Instagram page is linked. Was it also always that way, or did you do some admin reveal at some point? Because like as your Depths of Wikipedia page grew, your personal Instagram grew as well, and like you sort of became, yeah, like a well-known figure, or like I'm trying to avoid the term influencer, but
I've been like somewhat public for a long time. The first time I put my name in the Instagram bio was maybe like 4 months into having the account. So it's been a long time. It's never really been a secret, and I never had a dramatic reveal. This is me.
right. And
But it's
then
nice to, I mean, I think the
yeah,
reason it's nice to do that is because I love Wikipedia a lot. I like posting interesting corners and I love hearing all the funny like comments people have about different topics. But I
yeah,
also
no,
don't
of
know if
course.
I'm gonna be like the funny Wikipedia lady forever. And so it's nice to have my own profile where I can talk about other stuff.
Yes. Yeah. And then, like, but you are aware of that, like, it's very public, right? Your personal page is also like, uh, yeah, like pretty big, or like, do you have
I,
any sort of like, do you have like a certain like conscious way of navigating that, or?
um, it's kind of I mean, something that you notice, like when you have a, a brand, I guess, that's been very consistent for a while, is that like when people like something, they like it. And I, I knew that I could post more of myself, like on my Instagram story from depths of Wikipedia. Um, but I just sometimes people like that, sometimes they don't. I think in general, I don't want to fix something that's not broken. And so if I want to post about things that aren't related to Wikipedia, I'll just do that on my personal account.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. Mm, yeah, then I also want to talk about your TikTok for a while, because I think that's, compared to the Instagram and Twitter pages, yeah, what you do on TikTok is maybe a little different, at the Depths of Wikipedia handle. So then again, I'm gonna switch to the screen share again, and then let's just watch one of your, yeah, let's watch this video. Wait, is there sound? Should be
Well, if anyone's
working.
wondering what I'm talking about, I'm going through the list of Russian leaders since the mid 19th century and pointed out how their hair alternates between bald and hairy, each leader.
Exactly. Yes. So I think this was like, this is one of your like earlier format TikToks, I think. Mm, like, was that a big step for you to sort of start performing your content, because like it has your face in it for the first time? Like, was that a big step, or like something that felt natural, or?
Well, I noticed that people that I really liked were spending a lot of time on TikTok, and so I thought, you know what, I shouldn't miss out on this. And so I just kind of took things that I would have posted on Instagram without commentary and I added commentary. And I had my face in them and I would talk, and I still do that sometimes. But yeah, my initial motivation was just like, hey, this is a new platform. It seems like a lot of social media platforms feel rather shaky and unstable. And so a lot of people just kind of put a foot into each one. And so that's what I was thinking.
Yeah. And then I think at some point you sort of, yeah, took a bit of another route with the TikTok videos.
Sort of, yeah. I mean, eventually I just kind of thought that it's yeah, it's a good question. I don't really know exactly why I stopped like limiting myself to just reciting the Wikipedia article, but yeah, I mean, people most of the reason that people have liked my accounts on social media is just because I'm posting things from Wikipedia. I'm a Wikipedia editor, but I obviously do not write all of the articles. The vast majority of the things I post are not me. They're not my words. And so it feels nice and it also feels more legitimate for me to post something where it's not just me reciting something that an anonymous volunteer wrote, but it's something that's actually me. And that's more satisfying and it also feels yeah, it feels good to know that like I can say something that resonates with people as well. And it's I don't just have to read someone else's thing.
Yeah. Yeah, I think also in like in another interview that I read, you said, because you had the Perpetual Stew project last summer, I believe, yeah?
Mhm.
And I think both you and your boyfriend were quoted saying, mm, yeah, that you were like pivoting from Wikipedia influencer to stew influencer, or that it was nice to sort of be able to take a break from being the Wikipedia girl and being able to be the stew girl.
Yeah, I don't know if I would say pivot because I'm not going to stop posting on depths of Wikipedia, but it's
Of
just nice
course.
to add another thing into the, I don't know, into the toolkit.
Right, like not be a one-hit wonder, or
Yeah, I mean, as much as I love like unusual Wikipedia articles, at a certain point, I think I will get sick of laughing about the list of stolen and missing moon rocks.
yeah. Yeah, and I think also like it sort of opens up, or I don't know, I went through your TikTok timeline and you sort of see this, yeah, like where on Instagram you have your personal page and that's fully you, and you have the Depths of Wikipedia page and that's like very strict, the format. Mm, like on TikTok, they're sort of intertwined, or yeah, it's combined in a way.
Yeah, it is. I don't have like there's no real strategy or reason that I did that, but that's just kind of how the cookie crumbled.
Yeah. Oh, I think that's nice. Mm, but also like it still feels very like you still keep doing the Wikipedia stuff, right? Like it will be sort of on and off, or it's just intuitive to you.
Yeah, another thing that's happened is that I mean, it's been maybe 3.5 years since I've had the Depths of Wikipedia account. And as I've gotten a lot more involved with the editing side of Wikipedia, yeah, I mean, I just tend to find that like personally more interesting. All of the decisions that go into whether to title an article, I don't know, the massacre of XYZ or the events of XYZ. Like that has political implications, and there are a lot of really smart people that are volunteering their time to discuss stuff like that all the time. And I find it so fascinating. And it doesn't translate quite as well to like a jokey social media format. And so that's just one thing. I've gotten a little bit more interested in the behind the scenes stuff that lends itself better to long form media, like long videos or articles.
Yes, yes, because I also think, yeah, what you do on TikTok as well is show like this sort of backside of Wikipedia. Like in the introduction video, there was this TikTok of you where you go bike around New York with this elderly guy, and you take pictures to add to Wikipedia. I think you've been to like Wikipedia conferences. Yeah, can you sort of maybe tell about this community of people that you stumbled upon, or like the places that either this account or your fascination with Wikipedia in general has brought you?
I mean, there are tons of Wikipedia editors. Maybe there are some here. Specifically, I mean, Wikimedia Netherlands is like one of my favorite chapters. Like they're powerhouses. They do so much tech stuff too. And so I've met I've met a lot of Wikimedia Netherlands people at like online stuff, which is very convenient considering there's an ocean between us. But I also met a bunch of them at the Wikimedia Hackathon this year that was in Athens, Greece. So yeah, it's just a huge community. Some people do like when I edit, usually I write articles in English Wikipedia, but there are people that like Jim Henderson, the guy that I biked with, he only does photos of infrastructure in New York City. There's a Dutch woman named Vera de Kook, and she does pretty much everything. She does tech and she writes articles. But one thing that's really cool is that she gets press passes and she takes photos of like media worthy events, and she puts the Creative Commons license on them, and then they end up getting used both on Wikipedia but also on tons of like blogs, social media, basically anywhere where they need a photo of something that is that they have the rights for.
Yeah, and then do you also like obviously you go to these places like out of your own interest, I assume, or
Yeah, I
because
just
you
think
have the
it's the
account,
best.
or
I just, I really do love Wikipedia. I just go because I'm interested.
yeah. But then also, of course, you run these social media pages, and then I think yeah, you are one of the people who is allowed to post on the official Wikipedia Mastodon account, like one of these sort of new Twitter-like platforms. Mm, so how does it feel for you? Is it like, do you also sort of feel like a representative of Wikipedia, or like part of this community, or like is the community like the organization, like where do you fit in? How do you see yourself in this context?
I feel like I fit in pretty well. I was the Wikimedian of the Year in the media category. So they flew me out to
Right,
Singapore at
congratulations.
Wikimania, and it was a whole thing. I'm like, I have personal relationships with a ton of Wikimedia Foundation staff members and with Wikipedia editors. I'm definitely not the best editor in the world. Like I have much less experience than a lot of people, but I definitely feel like I'm part of the community, and I'm not an outsider that's just like sitting and making fun or commentating on it, I feel part of it.
Yeah. No, but I mean, like, I don't think you need to be an editor, right? Because like, you're like maybe not the best editor, but you are like the best Wikipedia Instagrammer, I would say, like
I
by the
think that
numbers.
is, I can't think of anyone else that is a Wikipedia Instagrammer
No,
with like the same
exactly.
sort of following. So
And then
yeah,
for
I
the
can't
Mastodon account, oh yeah,
yeah, the Mastodon cropped up a couple months ago as Twitter was kind of going downhill, and it's community run, and there are a few different people that work on it, but I am one of them, and so it's pretty fun. I try to be a little bit more I don't know, respectful and professional, and I use capital letters for that one, but it's pretty much the same idea. It's like, how do you get a layperson who's just scrolling on their phone to get excited and interested in Wikipedia?
oh yeah, right. So it's maybe a little less quirky or a little less edgy, or
I would say it is quirky, but it's less edgy. I just try to be extremely inoffensive, even more than
yeah.
normal.
Then maybe about that sort of quirkiness, um, because that also seems something that comes very natural to you, or yeah. Have you thought about that, or is it just intuitive?
I mean, it's kind of hard to put your finger on quirkiness because the definition
Mm.
is that it's a little bit unusual and is always changing. I mean, I think that things that I tend to like on Wikipedia beyond just animals and food, I just like it when like there are underdogs and when people are kind of sticking it to the man or when people are being a little bit irreverent. And so in a lot of things I post, you can see those themes of like irreverence. One that I posted 2 days ago was there was a prank that happened in 1809. And when I read that, I was so surprised because the rest of the prank sounds like something that would happen in like a Mr. Beast video or in TikTok. It was this 22-year-old who had a bet with his friend that it was like, I bet you, it was basically like 100 euros, the equivalent. And it was like, I bet you that you can't make this random address the most talked about place in London. And he was like, yes, I bet I can. And so he ordered just like hordes of deliveries to this address. And sure enough, it was the most talked about address in London, and we're still talking about it 200 years later. So that's an example of irreverence. Um, and I'm trying to think, like pranksters of history. I
Mm.
like it a lot when people that lived in the like just very long ago, they do things that are silly or very human. Because so often when I think about history, I think about the things that are in the books, like the meetings and the wars and the battles and things that the like top 1% was doing, and you forget that even 1,000 years ago, 10,000 years ago, 100,000 years ago, there were people that were like telling jokes and I don't know, doing handshakes and like cartwheeling and doing all these silly human things. Like, I don't know, there were kids that would like eat food and they'd be like, gross, I hate it, and spit it out. Like that's just something that has been happening since the beginning of time. And it's fun to remember that for all of history, humans have always been humans.
Yeah, no, that's really nice. I think it's also like one of your tweets where it was like a child's homework from like hundreds of years ago, and it had like these funny drawings. And I think you also wrote like it's nice to think that kids have always been kids or something like that.
Yeah, you have very good memory. It's his name is Onfim, Onfim, and his birch bark drawings were preserved. And so now we look at his like drawings that he made as a 6-year-old and we get a little window into his little world.
Yeah, yeah. I think yeah, like maybe sort of relating to this sort of humanness or like your interest in these sort of things. Like for me, uh, I think your account, your various pages, like they work so well because like on the one side you are yeah you have these sort of geeky interest, or like these screenshots can feel as if they're taken by this sort of secluded person going on like insane online deep dives, but then you're also this very sort of outgoing charismatic person like befriending strangers, and yeah, you're sort of right at the intersection of this. Mm, and I was wondering, maybe in relation to that, um, like, or first of all, like, what are your thoughts on that? And maybe it also points to maybe sort of a relation you would have with like the internet over like your life or with Wikipedia.
That's an interesting question. I do get comments a lot that are like, I thought you would be a neckbeard, or people are often very surprised that I'm a woman. And yeah, I mean, Wikipedia editors are like 85% male, depending on the survey. Like it's definitely a male-dominated crowd over there. And so I'm not surprised that people see somebody that's, I don't know, very publicly into Wikipedia, and they're surprised that it's not like the stereotypical like 25-year-old guy that lives in his parents' basement. But yeah, sometimes people expect me to be some super genius. I'm definitely not. I think if anything, I'm just like quite curious about a lot of things. And I'm not the smartest person in the world or in the room. And yeah, it's just like I kind of stumbled into this niche of screenshotting things, and I don't know if that really answers your question.
No, I think it sort of does. I think it's, yeah, like, but I did, like, to me it feels like you're saying like, oh, I just stumbled into this, but it's also like, I think it has to do like with your personality and like you're very optimistic, I think. Like, I mean, going like to this like old guy's house and biking around with him in New York, like there must be tons of people who think like, oh, I'm not going to meet up with a stranger, or like, do you ever have like doubts or insecurities or anxieties, or I mean, not to talk you down, but
Well, I don't meet up with strangers like every day. Also, I knew
Mhm.
Jim, but I do think that like the spirit of collaboration on Wikipedia has changed my life. Because every day I'm logging into the computer and I'm working with people that I've never met. And I have no idea who's on the other side of the screen sometimes. It could be like a tenured Harvard professor with a Nobel Prize, or it could be a 13-year-old who's just very smart. And you don't know, and it doesn't even matter. And you're working together to build, I don't know, some Wikipedia article. Maybe it's a Wikipedia article that really matters. Maybe it is, I don't know, a biography of somebody that died 500 years ago that no one ever got around to writing the Wikipedia about. Um, and so, yeah, I think I've gained a lot of faith in strangers, especially since like every day people are doing this for free, like just for fun. Um, so the internet often like had this kind of sort of like ethos of collaboration and this feeling that everyone was being constructive and working together to do something larger than themselves. Like I feel like that was kind of more common 15 years ago or 20 years ago or 30 years ago. Um, and so today, I think it's perhaps harder to find, but on Wikipedia, the spirit lives on.
Yeah, no, for sure. Like, if you compare it to like, um, yeah, any like social media page where like the comment section can be like this cesspool of hate speech or whatever. Like, I mean, like, I'm taking the worst example, but yeah, no, of course, then Wikipedia by comparison seems like one of the most successful and constructive projects where, yeah, people come together on the internet.
Yeah, I feel like it's in a class of its own.
For sure. And then, yeah, okay, so like the two last things I sort of want to ask about is, first of all, the book you're working on. Can
Yeah.
you like tell a little bit about it? It's about Wikipedia.
Yeah, well, I mean, I'm very into Wikipedia, and clearly people have interest in at least interesting articles in Wikipedia. And so I had some publishers ask about writing a book, and I was like, yes, but I can't just print the Wikipedia screenshots. I got to also add some of the story of how it works and the incredible, generous, gifted people that make it what it is. And so it's going to be a nonfiction book called Cultural History of Wikipedia. Hopefully, it will be very casual and funny and like easy to read, whether you're interested in Wikipedia and you have been for a long time, or if you're just kind of picking it up off the shelf. So that's the goal, and it will be out in a long time, probably in 2 years. my draft is due in a year.
Okay, yeah, so you can take your time a little bit. That's nice. And then the live shows, those have been going on for quite a while now, I think, and that's something you don't do on your own, where I think the social media pages are, right?
The live shows I pretty much do on my own, except for a
Mm.
few things. I work with venues, and so venue staff will do like ticketing and they'll sell things like food or drinks during the shows. My boyfriend has come to some of them in the past couple months, and we have a little guitar song that sometimes we do. And then here and there, I'll have like interesting guests come, but I'm always the one that's organizing the event, and I'm always on stage for most of the event.
Yes, and then what would a Depths of Wikipedia live show look like? I mean, you've mentioned the song, you've mentioned some guests. Like, what do they do? What do you do?
Okay, well, each one is a little different, but in general, it's like there's a PowerPoint behind me with things from Wikipedia, and then I give comedic commentary throughout. And some of it is about articles, some of it is about the drama, the like, inter-editor drama on Wikipedia. And if there's a guest that comes, often it's somebody that either is like a kooky person who is the subject of an odd Wikipedia article, or it's somebody that's maybe like a known expert in a field, and then I'll give trivia to them about like the silliest corners of their area of study to see if they know things like that. So
Right?
it's like
Do these people know that they're the subject of a Wikipedia article before you reach out to them?
It depends. I mean, most people that have Wikipedia articles have responded to press inquiries because you have to have, I mean, a handful, like five-ish really good sources for you to have a Wikipedia article in the first place. And so in general, it's people that have like given plenty of interviews to magazines, newspapers in their life, and often they're in tune with the media. I have never met anyone that is the subject of a Wikipedia article who did not know they had a Wikipedia article.
Okay, oh yeah. Well, that's good to know. Well, yeah, Annie, thanks so much. I think those were all the questions I had, but we also have, people in the audience here. So if there's anyone who has a question for Annie, please raise your hand and we'll get the mic to you. Florian, up there. Oh, there.
Hello, thank you so much for your time. First of all, I think you're such a radiant person. You really show your curiosity and you can even feel it across the ocean. I think it's very contagious. So I'm gonna look down all your Instagram posts. But I'm curious about if you're playing this game. Unfortunately, I lost the name, but where two people are on their laptops and they try to get from one starting article on Wikipedia to like a result article. Do you ever play that, or do you think you have like a unfair advantage since you're so familiar with the website?
I'm so prepared to answer this question for you. I went to Wikipedia this year in Singapore, and there was an official wiki racing competition. Some people use different names on the Wikipedia article for wiki racing. There are like 10 different names, but I say wiki racing. And I did the competition, and I got third place.
Ooh.
So I'm not the best, but I was very proud that I got my little plastic trophy, and I keep it on my desk. So yes, I have played it and I'm a big fan. And being on Wikipedia, especially editing and like knowing all the little formatting quirks of Wikipedia, that helps a lot, but not enough for me to get first place.
Well, thanks so much. I think we had some more questions in the audience.
Hey, I have a question about branding, which you have perhaps slightly alluded to. But do you ever feel that the content is easily replicable? And is that perhaps why you broaden out into different social media platforms, or also try and build a bit of a personal brand to protect what is essentially just screenshots of Wikipedia?
I mean, definitely, yeah. That's kind of what I said earlier. There are people that screenshot things that I've posted and I recognize my crop job, and I'm never going to go after them because it's all freely licensed. I have no ownership of the material that's on Depths of Wikipedia, and I don't really need to. I don't really want to. It's just for everyone. All I'm doing is like resurfacing things that don't get a lot of traffic. So yeah, that's part of the reason why it's particularly fulfilling to do stuff that is like my own IP. It's my own, I like things that I own and can be associated with.
Hi, thank you so much for your talk. I think your work is very funny. I think it's interesting that you said that you started all this during the Corona pandemic. And I'm interested in how was your life involved with Wikipedia before this pandemic? And how is it for you that now your whole life revolves around this thing that happened during the pandemic?
Before the pandemic, I had edited Wikipedia, but I had never done any bold edits. I had done uncontroversial grammar changes. I had archived links that were dead, and I had done other things that were very behind the scenes, things that no one would get mad at. And I would look at the talk pages, and often I would feel a little bit intimidated because people reference acronyms that I didn't know, and they took it all very seriously. And I just thought, you know what, I'm not going to bother with that. So that was my involvement with Wikipedia before. Now I have gotten involved with all of that. I know most of the acronyms, but still not all of them. And it was a bit, it was interesting to watch my like life change. When I was in school, I was studying neuroscience, and I thought I would be a science teacher to high schoolers, which would have been a really fun life. I still think maybe someday that will happen. But over a few months, I kind of realized, hey, this is, there's some momentum on this social media thing. People seem to appreciate what I'm doing. Nobody was telling me to stop, really. I didn't have like haters. So I thought, okay, I'll just see where this goes. I'll see if I can like do events or make money in some way. And I'm glad I did. It was a fun experiment. And for now, my life, pretty much all hours of the workday, involves Wikipedia. But I can see a future where someday it doesn't. Maybe it's just a little hobby.
That's great, thank you.
Hi, I love your work. You even inspired me to start editing Wikipedia articles by myself. So thank you for doing all you've done. And I wanted to ask, as an editor, is there like a specific like field of knowledge or area that you prefer to edit or you enjoy editing articles in?
That is a hard question to answer because the articles I've written, they vary a lot. I wrote an article about a specific animal one time. I've written articles about companies. My interests in general are like pop science, and I'm interested in social media creators, particularly somewhat academic people, like people that talk about information. And so I've done a lot of editing on those areas just because I'm interested in them. But no, I don't. Some editors, like, they really have a niche. Like, there's a guy in Japan who all he does is illustrate extinct arthropods. There's a person that fixes one grammar error over and over 90,000 times. And I have never been pinned down like that.
Nice, thank you.
I think you can, oh, can you pass it over there maybe? Yeah.
Hello. I hope I'm not putting you on the spot with this question, but can you share with us your top 3 Wikipedia articles on the top of your head? Thank you.
Okay. Things that are interesting to read. Well, on Wikipedia, there are people that have collected like extensive lists of interesting articles. There's like the English article list of interesting articles, I think, list of unusual articles. That's just a massive repository. So that would be my answer, but that might be a cop-out answer because it's just one article, but it links to like maybe 1,000, maybe a few hundred different articles. I think let me think off the top of my head of some specific articles that are fun to read. I like Penelope the platypus. She is a platypus who escaped from the Bronx Zoo because she didn't like her platypus partner. Kind of funny. The media just went crazy for it in the 1960s. This isn't, oh yeah, I love her. I just think it's crazy how much they anthropomorphized her in the media and on Wikipedia. So that's one that I like. I like the list of inventors killed by their own inventions. That one's pretty interesting. what else? There are so many good ones. List of common misconceptions is a good one. And okay, I'm gonna name a fourth, and this is just because you're in the Netherlands. I have Dutch ancestors, but I don't speak the language, and I've only been to the Netherlands once, and it was as a tourist. But I discovered like somewhat recently that somebody that I am distantly related to, my great 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 aunt, she owned a brothel in the Netherlands. And so if you Google, yeah, exactly. She has the same last name that I do. And I went to a library in the Netherlands and I talked to some very helpful, like Amsterdam history librarians, and they got me some documents and I read more about her. And it sounds like she was not a very good woman. And so I'm not really proud to be her relative, but that is my only family member on Wikipedia.
Lovely. Thank you.
Hello. It's a bit of a stupid question at the end, but do you have your own Wikipedia page about yourself or deep depths of Wikipedia?
Okay, very convenient timing. As of 2 days ago, yes. There's been an article about depths of Wikipedia for a year and a half, but the article about me, that one, there was a draft version of it for months that I've noticed. And then it was published 2 days ago. And I didn't write it. There's like guidelines that say that you really probably shouldn't write your own article since you're not going to be very objective when you write about yourself. So I haven't touched this, but it is very cool to read.
Thank you.
And maybe Annie, I think you did mention you did upload your own photos to Wikimedia, right?
Yeah, I uploaded this one of myself.
But could you tell maybe a bit about? Oh wait, how can I find this now? Wait, should I search for like Annie
If you press
Rao
back,
Wikimedia? Oh
I think
yeah.
if you go back and then there's a blue button in the bottom right, media, more details.
Uh-huh.
That's like the photo data, if that's what you were looking for.
Oh yeah, now I'm looking for like all the images you uploaded.
Oh, I mostly edit on a private account, but I've
Ah,
uploaded
okay.
some images from the public account. Like if they're images of myself, that's from the
Yeah,
public
because when I
account.
asked you for pictures of yourself for this event, like you sent the links to like the Wikimedia website.
Okay, I think if you Google like Wikimedia Commons Annie Rauwerda, it'll
Uh-huh.
probably bring you to a category and it'll be a bunch of photos of me. And you'll see me like at different Wikipedia conferences, me just in a lot of different contexts. And most of them were taken by other people and then they tagged them. And so they ended up in the same category.
Yeah, and then I think a couple are like studio photos that you took.
That the
Or
ones
that
with
you
the reddish background are studio photos, mostly because I kept going to Wikipedia conferences and I would get off the flight and I would be like so sleepy and I would not be looking very good. And then somebody well-meaning would take a picture of me and then it would end up on Wikipedia and I would just be kind of sad because I was like, this is not my best photo. And so that's why I uploaded ones that I liked.
right. But it's also very smart because it's like also like a nice thing to do, right? To add to this database that's free and available.
Yeah, I
These
mean,
sort of
it's definitely. And anyone, like any celebrity or public figure can do that. They can upload their own photos. They're just not supposed to edit their own article. But the guidelines are, I don't know what it's like on Dutch Wikipedia, but the English Wikipedia guidelines for how to upload photos, they're a little tricky and the copyright law is not intuitive. So there are a lot of public figures that end up with just like these like really weird, blurry, unflattering images.
Yeah, so like if there's any like celebrity out there that has like a weird picture, they can actually fix it themselves.
Yeah, they're allowed to upload like, a selfie or something else, but not everyone does.
Yeah. Okay, well, Annie, thank you so much. I think you've taught us a lot about Wikipedia and your process. And good luck with your live show tomorrow.
Thank you. Yes, it's in Boston.
Great. Well, yeah, have fun, and thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me.